Can you give some more examples of simile?
Rose is beautiful.
Hmm. Okay. Like, you have to use like.
Like, okay.
Hmm.
Her eyes are big. No. As
Trees look like a line.
mm, like.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Can you think of more examples of simile?
His face looks like a fire when he was angry.
I felt as high as a kite. The dog is as fit as a fiddle.
Okay, ma'am. As also used as.
Yes. Her hair was as golden as the sun. Okay. These are
Okay.
examples of simile. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
It is as black as night.
Night.
He is as blind as a bat. She eats like a bird. He is larger, as large as life. Okay. So all these are examples of simile. Okay. She was as busy as a bee,
As loyal as a dog.
as loyal as a dog. Yes.
As
Next is
far.
metaphor. What is the difference between a simile and a metaphor? We do not use as. Okay. We
Okay, ma'am.
we do not use as, but we just say like John is a goat. We will not say that John is as humble as a goat, but we'll say John is a goat. Okay.
Okay.
That becomes metaphor. Okay. He was, we will not say brave as lion, but we will say he was a lion. He was a lion. Then it becomes a metaphor. Okay. Like for example,
She is a star.
life is a journey. You know,
Mm.
laughter is the best medicine. His words are wisdom. Her eyes were eyes. Not we will say her eyes were as cold as ice, but we say that her eyes are like our eyes. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Then we have can you think of more examples? She was a lioness of her time.
Is the star of our class.
Hmm.
He
Love
worked.
is a battlefield. Okay, there are so many examples. Next we have after simile and metaphor, we have personification. What is personification? Personification is when we connect a non-living thing to a living thing. Okay. Personification means we are making a non-living thing as a human being. Like the fog comes as a little cat. Okay. So you are comparing non-living with living thing.
Living.
Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Can you think of more examples of personification? Like the wind howled in the night. Now who howls?
Wind
Who,
house.
The
who howls?
dog. Dog howls in the night.
So
But
the
it is.
wind, we are comparing, we are personifying the wind. The wind howled in the night. So we are giving human qualities to the non-living things. Okay, that is personification. Like the
The
hyena
sun,
laughed.
ma'am,
The frog,
the sun kissed me
yes.
when I was taking picture or something
The
like that.
yes, the snowflakes danced. Now
Um,
the snowflakes danced. That's an example of personification. Okay, you can have example. The birds told me. So the birds told me. Again, it will be a personification. Rain looked at the joy. Okay. Mountain spoke. So when you are giving human qualities to the non-living things. Okay. Next is apostrophe. What is apostrophe?
First of is the put.
Just like we use s, and after that, sorry, we use apostrophe to show possession,
Before
right?
S. Yes.
Yes. We uh, we uh, we spoke for higher teachers salary, so teachers apostrophe. Generally apostrophe is not taken. I have just selected the image which has the most number of figure of speech. That's why I have taken this image. So basically apostrophe we can avoid here. We know why we use apostrophe, right? Then we know
Okay.
hyperbole. What is hyperbole?
Okay. Go with.
When you compare using than, you're beautiful than rainbow colors. THA and then. Okay. That
Okay.
is hyperbole. When you're comparing two things together. Okay.
Mm.
Can you give more examples of hyperbole?
Ram is smarter than Ravi.
Yes. My granddad is uh, older than your grandfather.
Mm.
Sometimes we also use it to exaggerate the meaning of sentence. You know, like
Yeah.
my granddad is as old as time. So when you're
Mm.
exaggerating it, comparing it with something which is not possible, okay, then
Mm.
it is a hyperbole. There's a difference between metaphor and hyperbole. In metaphor, it is comparatively practical, but in hyperbole, we are exaggerating it to something which is actually not possible. You know, my grandfather cannot be as old as time, but I'm exaggerating. Okay, so that's the difference between hyperbole and
Metaphor.
metaphor. Yes, like for metaphor, we can say, um, you never know what you are. No, sorry, life is a box of chocolates. Okay, that's a metaphor where you are comparing. Okay,
Um.
without using as or like. But in hyperbole,
Mm. We
you
use
are
than.
exaggerating. Okay,
Mm.
like for example, if I say winning a chess game against you won't happen even in a million years. So why I'm saying like that? Why I'm saying it won't happen in million of years also? I want to exaggerate. I just want to put more weight of my words, right? Like my eyes widened at the sight of mile high. My eyes widened at the sight of the walls high, high fancies that were brought to over table. So we cannot bring something from sand there on the table actually, but I'm just trying to exaggerate, right? So it is mostly exaggerating something in a typical humorous way. Okay. Can you think of more examples? I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. That's a very commonly used hyperbole. Your back pain weighed a ton. I've told you a million times. These are very commonly used hyperbole where you are actually doing what? You're comparing to something which is not possible, right? For example, my uncle works for this company. I sorry, when you see, wait a minute, I'm getting a call. Sorry, there was a call. So when I say my uncle works in Ambani, he's not working in Ambani, but he's working in Reliance. But I'm just trying to put weight to what I'm saying. I want to exaggerate it, and so that is how I am saying. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next one. Euphemism. What is euphemism? He told us a cock and bull story. Okay. Islam is very plain. He told us a cock and bull story means he told us a lie. So what is euphemism? To substitute a word or phrase with a more pleasant one. Like when we say she passed away, instead of saying she died, we want to use it with a better uh, or we can say more pleasant word. So we say she passed away. Okay.
Or maybe like, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If I want to say somebody who is heavy or overweight and I say big boned, so that's a way of replacing the words to actually not exaggerate. It's opposite of exaggeration. In hyperbole, we were exaggerating, and here we are doing the reverse. Okay. In like if you want to fire somebody from the company, rather than saying you're fired, you are saying I have to let you go. So what you are actually doing, you don't want when you don't want to be harsh. Okay, then it is called euphemism. Okay. Even we can use it as when we say instead of using the word toilet and we say restroom. So is it actually a restroom? No. But then it's a better way of speaking the same thing, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Sometimes we give indirect hint also. Like if I want to eat something and I'm hungry and I just ask you what are you cooking, so that's a better way to give you the hint that now I want food. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes we also uh, try to say something positive, like she's not unkind. So what does this sentence means when I say she's not unkind? I'm
She's
expressing a positive sentence. Okay. So that shows that I am trying to uh, nullify the opposite meaning by saying she's not unkind. That means she's kind. And sometimes unintentionally or accidentally we mispronounce a word like, sorry, not this one. So we were talking about euphemism. So euphemism, instead of saying somebody that I am instead of saying somebody that leave me alone, I can say I am busy. You know? If I don't want somebody to sit with me, then when I say I am busy, that's a positive way to give hint to the person that I cannot spend time with you. Okay. That is euphemism. Somebody is telling you a lie and you say you are telling me a fairy tale. Is it a euphemism?
Yes, sir, it is.
Because I don't want to be harsh by saying that you are telling me a lie. Instead of saying that, I'm saying you that you are telling me a fairy
Fairy
tale.
tale.
Yes. Okay, next. So we have done simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole, euphemism, and now parable. Now, what is parable? Parable is a short fictitious story that illustrates a moral attitude or a religious principle. Okay, so it is related with religious thing, like his life is a parable of the corrupting effect of great wealth, for he always assumed that everyone was after his money and out to cheat him. Okay, so we are trying to connect it with the religious thing, that his life is a parable of the corrupting effect of great wealth.
Mm.
So parable is used mostly for what? Something religious. Okay, it's a story or a short narrative designed to reveal some religious principle, okay, moral lesson or general truth. Okay, rather than using abstract discussion, a parable will always teach by comparison with real or literal occurrence. Okay,
Okay.
so this particular word is used in the way of something religious, like we say the uh, prodigal son and the good. Uh, when we say the prodigal son, so that's a parable where we are comparing the son with something religious. Okay, but this is again used very less. You will not find this mostly in English books, means in the curriculum of at least Indian books till grade 10 also. You will not find this one particularly. Okay, so this is not very much frequently used, this figure of speech. Next is fable. Now, what is fable? We all know fable stories we have heard. What is fable?
Moral stories.
Yes, that's a fable stories. The well-known fable of tortoise and hare. So, where you have a moral, slow and steady wins the race. United we stand, divided we fall. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. So, when you have fable, that's a moral story. Okay. I'm just leaving the few which are really not used much. Next we will take irony. What is irony? Irony is commonly used. What is irony?
Some sort of telepathy when some coincidence, something of that sort happens.
Can you give
Some
some
sort,
examples?
some sort.
Irony is the use of words that mean the opposite, exactly opposite of what you really think. When you say, "This is my brilliant son who failed uh, in college," so what does it mean? Is he really brilliant? We are just using the opposite. This is my brilliant son who failed. He is the great singer who sings like a crow. So you are actually using the exact opposite word. Then it is irony. Okay. Like a weak, it is kind of, you can say, A vehicle which is parked right in front of the no parking sign. Exactly the opposite. Can you think of more examples? Great weather we are having during a storm, or a fire station burning down. So fire station is actually meant to, this is called situational irony, a fire station burning down. So fire station is actually meant to stop the fire, but here we are using fire station burning down. And verbal irony, when we say great weather we are having during a storm, means storm is going on and you're saying great weather, like out of, or you are being sarcastic and you're saying like that.
Ma'am, a dog lover being allergic to dogs.
Yes, where you're using the opposite word in a sentence to say the opposite. You know, the word which you're using is showing actual meaning is the exact the opposite.
Yeah, ma'am.
Like for example, if a group is sitting quiet.
Ma'am, can we also say like this? I love warm weather, but I get sunburned easily.
No, no, no. You don't have to mention that. Like
Okay.
when you are saying, when when suppose the principal comes in and she has a bad news, but the way she is saying,
Mm-hmm.
her tone will say that it is not a good news. Like when she entered and say, the good news is that today you have 2 hours. Uh,
Extra.
yes. So
Uh,
is it a good news?
no, no.
No, na?
Okay. Yeah. So opposite.
Mm,
The meaning is
yes,
opposite.
yes. Like for example, there's a fight between a shopkeeper and a customer, and the shopkeeper finally says he just want him to go away, and he says, "Have a nice day." That means he's just saying, "Go away." No? So, or if you're entering in an empty theater and you just say, "Oh, it's too crowded." So now it's actually the opposite. For example, if I have a good news and I say the bad news is that everybody got perfect in yesterday's test. So is it a bad news? No. It is so nice of you to tell my secrets. Like if two friends they are talking and one friend says to the other in a sarcastic tone, "Wow, so nice of you to tell my secrets." So is it
Ma'am,
actually nice?
ma'am, can it be also like this? It's irony that a police station is being robbed.
Yes. Okay. Or if a child says to his mom, "It is good of you for scolding me in front of my friends." So is it actually good he want to say? No. No. So that's actually what? Exactly
Irony.
opposite. Then next we have oxymoron. What is oxymoron? You must have heard about oxymoron. A figure of speech in which apparently contradictory terms. Now here it is almost like irony, okay, where you have contradictory words in the same sentence. In the same sentence, you will have contradictory word. Okay.
I mean, it's a false truth. False and truth. It seems like a false
Like
truth.
like when I say a little big, a little
A
big.
little bit.
So a little and big I am using. मतलब वो बड़ा है but उतना बड़ा नहीं है. A little big. So little and big are opposite but they are used together. Okay. Pretty ugly. She's pretty ugly. Now pretty ugly. She's ugly but she's so ugly that she's pretty ugly. Okay.
Ma'am, awfully
Act.
good.
When I say act naturally. Now naturally is not acting. Naturally is natural. But I'm saying act naturally. So these two terms are contradictory. Okay. And when I say found missing, now I found something missing. Now found and missing again, they are two contradictory words. Or if I say I like to be alone together. Now alone and together. Okay. When I say small crowd. Now crowd means many people and small. So these are two contradictory words. I have clearly misunderstood what you said. So misunderstood and clearly. These are two different opposite
Ma'am,
contradictory
the
words.
food is awfully good.
Ha ha. Na? I am terribly pleased to see your performance. Terribly and pleased. Okay. Ill health. Ill is bad and health is good. Ill health. A word which is helping another word, but it is con- uh, contradictory. Okay. So, which all figure of speech we have done today? Please note them down and try to find out more simile, metaphor, uh,
Action,
irony,
personification, hyperbole.
personification, hyperbole.
Oxymoron.
Yeah. So
I,
I have just shared you the image of 27, but we will not do all those because some of them are really not useful. So we will pick up the best and the most common ones, which we will find in at least books till grade 10. Okay, so we'll cover majorly all, but few are really not at all worth doing. So we will leave them. So just have try to find out more examples for each of them. Okay, and we'll continue tomorrow with the same topic.